There was once a man named Elias who lived in a small cottage where the land met the sea. Elias was a warrior. His mind was a captive, always snagged on the what-ifs. All day, his thoughts would circle, shadows of things gone wrong, specters of things that might, and they left him agitated and exhausted. He would look back at his past, at missed chances and bad tides, and all he felt was despair. He would look ahead to the future, to the endless grey unknown, and his stomach would tighten with a cold dread. His mind was a restless sea, even on the calmest days. He felt restless, on edge. He slept badly. He had forgotten how to simply sit and feel the sun on his face. Elias was a boatman. His small wooden boat was his life. But every time he set out, his body was in the boat, but his mind was in the storm. His gaze would catch on a single dark cloud on the horizon. His hands would check ropes that were already tied. He would taste the air for salt, for a sign of the wind. His shoulders hunched, waiting for the first drop of rain. One evening, the sky turned a deep bruised purple. This was not just a squall, this was a monster. A raw panic seized Elias. He ran to his boat, his breath coming in short, sharp gasps. He tied 3 extra ropes, pulling until his palms burned and his knuckles were white. He nailed a heavy tarp over the cabin, the hammer blows frantic and uneven. "It will destroy it," he muttered, his voice thin against the rising wind. "It will take it. It's all I have." As he scrambled, an old woman, a passenger he had carried many times, sat on a bench just above the dock. She was a small, still point in the chaos, her face as calm as the deep ocean. She watched him, not with pity, but with a quiet presence. "You are working hard, Elias," she said, her voice not loud, but it cut through the wind. "The storm," Elias shouted, his voice cracking. "It's a bad one. It could dash my boat to pieces. This boat is my life." The old woman nodded slowly. She pointed one frail finger at the thick coiled ropes in Elias's raw hands. "Are those ropes in your control?" she asked. "Yes," Elias snapped, his patience gone. "I am tying them." "Are they tied as well as any man could possibly tie them?" "Yes, of course." She then raised her hand and pointed to the vast, churning, terrifying sky. "And is that," she asked, her voice gentle, "in your control?" The words hung in the air. Elias stopped. The wind tore at his clothes, but he suddenly felt it less. He looked at his own bleeding knuckles. He looked at his thick, perfect knots. And then he looked at the sky, a magnificent, terrible, unstoppable force. He understood. His work was done. The ropes were his. The storm was not. He finished his last knot. He checked it one last time. It was good. He turned, gave a short, stiff nod to the old woman, and walked to his small cottage on the hill. That night, the storm howled. The wind screamed like a living thing. The waves crashed over the dock. But for the first time in his life, Elias was not in the storm. The storm was only outside of him. He sat by his fire, listening to its fury, and drank his tea. When morning came, the world was washed clean. The dock was in pieces. A great tree was split in two. But his boat, secured by its strong ropes, bobbed gently in the calm water. Elias walked down to the shore. He looked at the broken wood of the dock, and then at his boat. Safe. He took a slow breath, feeling the cold, clean air fill his lungs. He heard a small sound on the path above and looked up. The old woman was walking by. She stopped when she saw him and looked down. Elias didn't speak. He simply looked at her, his face for the first time, not creased with worry, but calm. He gave her a slow, small nod, a nod of understanding. The old woman smiled, a small, knowing smile. Then she turned and continued on her way. The sun was rising and the first light touched the ground. Elias turned back to his boat to begin his day. He was not the same agitated man who had faced the storm. He had changed. He was peaceful inside. He knew another storm would come. It always would. But he also knew you cannot control the storm. You can only control your ropes.